Here I was, standing at the entrance to the old mansion. I'd been mesmerized by the beauty of a Ninetales that I'd battled against on my way here. The kind trainer told me that Vulpix could be found in the old Cinnabar mansion, which was just about to be destroyed, but I was getting that Vulpix whether this stupid mansion wanted me to or not. I double-checked my party, making sure everyone was set and ready to go, but there was the question of whether he was ready or not. I bit my lip, having been told by a friend of the journals that were scattered around the mansion. He had pointed out the connections to my dearest boy, and I of course denied every single thing he pointed out. I had to. My Pokémon were practically my children, and what parent would try not to protect their child? But even I couldn't ignore everything. I decided to just keep him in his Pokeball for this trip, even if his psychic powers were good against the poison Pokemon that practically ruled this place. I took the ball and shoved it down deep in my backpack.
Where are we? I can't tell. It's dark and stuffy. Why can't I see? This feeling. Why do I have it? Why do I suddenly feel so ice cold? Where are we?
I felt the Pokemon rattle in my backpack. Considering my bag was so loaded with stuff, I was surprised I could feel it. My boy must be distressed. I frowned. I knew he didn't like being in dark places, and yet I still did this to him. He'll be upset, but not as much as he would be if he was out. The lesser of two evils, I suppose. And I simply couldn't leave him in the storage system. He'd live. I slid my Pokédex out of my pocket, looking at the picture of Vulpix on the screen, studying it. I scanned over its info. I'd be ready to face this thing once I found it. My gaze snapped up from the screen, my eyes wide. My prize had come to life, it seemed. Who was I to complain about that? The Vulpix spotted me. With its pinprick eyes, it took off down the decrepit hall. Grinning, I took off after it.
I feel sick. Is there anything for that? Maybe something for humans. Maybe it would work for me too. I'm not too different from them after all. No matter how much it pains me to say so with some of them in the world. The air smells familiar. Are we in a cave? No, it's not a cave. It feels too strange to be a cave. Let's see. The air smells stale. Something's burning, or has recently burned. That explains the heat, I guess. But it seems there's something behind all of that. It's so familiar. It practically drills itself into my mind, and into my fear, it seems. Where are we?
I chased the Vulpix through the dark. All of a sudden, it took a sharp turn to the right, into a room. So with a quick ember from my powerful Rapidash and a flick of the wrist, Vulpix was safely inside an Ultra Ball. I walked over and lifted up the Pokeball, tucking it into a pocket in my bag. I'd stick it in the PC once I got back outside. I slung my backpack off, reaching down one of the side pockets to grab an escape rope. That's when I saw it. The journal that my friend had told me about. Why it was laying on the ground as though someone had pitched the old book against the wall? Well, I'd never know. What was in that book, though, I had to know. My curiosity suddenly lurked in the front of my mind, like my shadow on a sunny day. It was there. There was no getting rid of it. Even though I practically promised myself and my boy that I wouldn't. I reached forward and I pulled the book towards myself. I was extremely careful with the yellowed pages. I bit my lip, gently turning to the front of the book. I read aloud,
we have discovered a new species of Pokémon. It seems that all members of this species are now gone, sadly. This makes studying the new Pokémon very hard. Luckily, we have recovered samples of the Pokémon's DNA. They appear to be very recent. Have these Pokémon only very recently gone extinct, or are they actually still alive?
Why does this sound so familiar? It's so painfully familiar, I can feel it in the back of my mind. Why can't I remember?
I turned the page, surprised to find a few pages torn out. I turned to where the book was laying, finding scattered piles of tiny bits of torn paper. I frowned. There was no salvaging that. I sighed and continued to read what I could.
Due to its supposed kitten-like appearance, we have decided to christen the new Pokémon with the name Mew.
I smiled. Mew was a very cute name.
Mew, 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 Mew. The name is so easy to say. It rolls off my tongue as easily as my own name. I can feel it burning in my mind. I know that name. Why do I know that name?
I turned the next few pages, finding them torn out or simply destroyed, to the point that only a few lines of text were readable. Finally, I came to something useful.
February 6, 1996. Cinnabar, Kanto region. The tests on the Mew have proved successful. We have cloned a brand new specimen. However, the limited DNA we have will not work. Professor Blaine offered some of his own blood for the research. While the clone is not what we had hoped for, being very little like the original Mew, it will have to suffice. We have decided to call this creature Mewtwo.
I frowned and I bit my lip. My friend had lied to me. He hadn't wanted me to read these. My Mewtwo. Was he really a science experiment?
No, I remember now. I remember it all now. I refuse to believe that I'm just a science experiment. I had emotions. I had thought. I believed those stupid humans. I believed they cared. I am as stupid as them for believing this charade. They care nothing about life.
I was almost shaking. My poor Mewtwo. This was really all he was intended for? My bottom lip quivered. I choked back tears. My Mewtwo. What would have happened had he not escaped? What fate would he have come to if he was not with me now? I read on. I had to know what the end would be like if he didn't.
Mewtwo is far too powerful. All attempts to weaken its vicious tendencies have failed.
I remember now. Oh, so vividly. But no matter how many times I run it through my head, it just seems like a story. I am Mewtwo. I am myself. I am no one's clone. I care not what the journals say, they are wrong! Wrong, 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 wrong! I am the original! Aren't I? Aren't I?